Hello, this is Jim Serena from the Monopoly Project. I'm here with Ivan Greathouse. Ivan is a steel guitar musician. He started playing in the 40s, I think, going on the road when he was 13 years old, and he played with all the greats through the years, through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s. And so we're here to talk to Ivan about Carl Perkins, blue suede shoes, and even Elvis Presley. So Ivan, when did you go on the road, and what is your backstory?
I started playing at 5 years old, and I started on guitar, but at 5 years old my fingers wouldn't reach around the neck, so my dad put high bridges under it and gave me his pocket knife and a thumb pick to play it with. And that's the way I started. And at 9 years old, in Texarkana, Texas, had a radio show, 12 to 12:30 every day. And then I started, my mother and father separated, so I went with my father to play music. And I ended up on the Louisiana Hayride in Shreveport playing staff steel guitar. And of course I'd done away with the little guitar that he gave me and bought a steel guitar. And I played there for about 3 years and went on the road with the road band off the Hayride when I was 13. And saw all the country. I loved it. But it gets old after a while. Can't keep your clothes clean, you know, and it's just a hard life, even for a kid like me.
Wow, the Louisiana Hayride, that's big time, right?
It was.
I mean, a lot of people with successful careers would have thought that would be the high point of their career, and you were
Right.
just a kid, right?
Yep.
So then you went on the road, and it was sort of tiring, but then you started playing professionally with all sorts of big country stars. Like,
Yeah.
who were some of the people you played with?
Dex Ritter, Farron Young, Mel Tillis, several names. It'd be easier to tell you what I didn't play with.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get into that conversation one of these sessions. But I do want to jump ahead. Blue Suede Shoes was, I think, in the 50s, right? The mid-50s, when Carl Perkins actually wrote. Why don't you tell me about Blue Suede Shoes? You know
he
more
wrote
about
it.
it than I do.
He wrote the song. Many people think Presley wrote it, but he didn't.
So Carl Perkins actually wrote Blue Suede Shoes, and you played with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this was in the 50s?
No, it was in the 60s when I played with him.
Okay.
It was in Denver, Colorado.
And Carl had a nickname for you.
Yeah, he shortened Greathouse to Ivan the Great.
Because of your musical abilities?
I guess, I don't know.
Or because of your personality?
I had a 9-piece band in Denver that they still talk about today.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. And what was it called?
I didn't even name it. It was just a house band.
It was a house band that played for people like Carl and
Yeah.
such. Okay.
We booked him in 5 days a week.
And then like, you mentioned Elvis, and everybody remembers the various Elvis clips, including I think on the Ed Sullivan Show where he played Blue Suede Shoes. And some people feel that he sort of stole the song from Carl.
Yeah,
That
he stole a lot of songs.
so okay, so you also did play with Elvis, also, right?
Yes, he used my band.
Oh,
I had a band in East Texas, and I worked with him on the Hayride. Not with him, but with another band. And he told me he was coming over to the town, Longview, Texas,
huh.
where I was living, and had the band there in the house. And he said, well, I'd like to use your group.
Wow. And when was this?
It was in, it was about 58.
Okay, so late 50s.
Yeah,
And so, what did you think of Elvis? I mean,
I didn't care for the man.
really?
No,
And why is that?
Nobody in the band likes his music. We charged him $200 a man to back him.
Really?
Yeah.
$200 in the 50s?
Yeah,
You didn't like the man or you didn't like his music?
both.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for him.
You didn't care for the Elvis Presley style?
No,
Huh.
rude. I took him as the smart aleck,
Well, I think that we all saw that in him,
Yeah,
even from
I
way
didn't like
out.
the gyrations and stuff he did. I thought that was crude and lewd.
Okay. Let me ask you one more question about
Okay.
Carl Perkins. You mentioned Elvis and his personality and background. What did you think of Carl?
I like Carl. He's down to earth guy. I liked him. We got along well.
Okay. And let me ask you one more question about Carl and even Elvis. Did they ever mention Jesus or anything when just sitting around talking?
No,
So they were not religious. They were not religious people.
didn't seem to be, no.
Okay, so you enjoyed Carl Perkins, but not Elvis, and
Right.
I did have another question on couple questions on Elvis. Did you ever meet his mother,
No.
or did you ever meet his father?
No, I never met his mother. I never met his father, actually. We talked on the phone several times. He or Tom Parker, one or the other, would call and say, Elvis is going to Vegas and he's going to play the Rio Palm Island. There, we've got the band. Would you consider backing him? He'd do that every time Presley was going to California or Vegas.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for those reminiscences and sharing that with us. I know there's not many people left from those days who actually knew these people, and it was a pleasure talking to you, Ivan.
Thank you very much.